go back to work on this? Have we? Kemi,
Yes,
Isaac,
we have. Yes, we have. It's Chioma, right? Not Kim, but yeah.
Chioma. All right, what have we got then, Chioma?
Okay, so we were able to make some changes.
What have we got? Talk
So
to
we're
me.
able to, so we're able to make some changes to like the governance, start working on the governance, change some of the racy matrix that we discussed, the organogram, the organochart, sorry, the organogram. Yeah, so we're able to make some changes to the documents. Unfortunately, we couldn't send it to you because we couldn't find you on Telegram. Can you hear me?
Sorry, I didn't catch that. Why are you talking to me? I didn't catch that.
Yes, I was. I said we made some changes to the document. So RACI, the organochart, we edited based on the feedback that you gave us. And also we started working on the governance. But I said, unfortunately, we couldn't send it to you because we couldn't find you on Telegram. On that FM, we couldn't find you. You're muted, Femi.
Okay, you said you couldn't find me.
Yes.
I think it's wrong because you put 3 digits, you know, it's wrong.
Okay, but you should be able to find me if you put at FM. You should be able to find me.
We couldn't. And I know, Loretta, you tried looking as well, didn't you?
Femi,
yeah, couldn't find
Femi,
you.
Sorry, I know you're recording. Chioma, please try at FM. The only thing I told you is that I know I really do not communicate with him on Telegram, but he's actually on Telegram.
Okay.
I got distracted when I was responding to you. He's on Telegram. Put at FM. You're actually going at FM a day or something. Just put at FM. Yeah. You see.
Because we tried at FM, it pulled out someone who was making inquiries and a different name.
Let me tell you what you see there, so that you don't look for it. You see a bottle of perfume, like something that they wrote Femi on it. You know he's the person. So I want you so that you see that part. Thank you.
Okay, we'll try that again. Thanks, Larry.
Have you found it now?
Not yet.
All right. Okay. Can you show them? I'm on Telegram. Don't worry. What I'll do is maybe I'll go on your Telegram page right now, and I'll just send a message.
Yes, that'll help. Thank you.
Thank you. That would be good.
I'm looking for your Telegram page.
I'll do something for you. Hold on, Femi. 1 second.
Just send me a message on their Telegram page so that I can.
That's what I'm doing. No,
yes,
I actually
send a bottle of the perfume to us so we can see it.
He has even changed that one. He left only the perfume on his WhatsApp. And his face that is in the other one. Oh my God. Let me just add you.
Did you see now? They just said you should send the perfume to them. Send the perfume to them. Huh?
I mean, you, Femi.
Am I the one? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Laomi's added you now to our ADM guild. Thank you, Laomi.
All right. Can you see me now? I just typed hi all.
Hi all. Yes.
Yes, that's it. Okay. All right. So it's important that you share this with me so that I know what you're working on, and we know that we're on the same page with this. All right. So based on what we've covered so far, I want you to give me a summary of the topics that we've covered that you are confident of. And any question that you have on it, I want you to ask me now. If anything is not clear, because we're progressing after now. Once you have gotten your the preliminary things that I said you should do, the governance, you need to show me that. You said you are still working on it. So I'm expecting that by next Tuesday, you'll be able to show me your governance. Your organogram chart, we've corrected that. I've told you what you need to put there. You said you've corrected it. Please share it with me. All right. Your RACI and the matrix of your stakeholders, you've done that. Correct? Is that correct, guys?
Yes, the RACI,
Okay.
yes. We've done
So
the
I
RACI.
need you to talk me through the topics that you've covered so far. All right? Answer me, guys, so that we can progress quickly. We have a lot to do.
Agile methodology and framework.
What framework? That doesn't really say anything to me. Agile methodology is broad. Agile methodology in what contexts? In the context of a tester or in the context of a business analyst? In what context did we treat agile methodology?
So we've looked at the agile methodology to understand the values, the principles, to understand just to get the mindset right and the reason why it's used by certain companies for their projects and programs. We looked at it in terms of the different roles to understand how it fits in with the Scrum and other agile methodologies as well, because we did a homework piece on finding out what the different methodologies are and doing some comparison as to why you would choose one and not another and why one might benefit the other in some instances. We talked in depth about the Scrum setup, ceremonies, the artifacts. We did a good deep dive on that. We also talked about the reasons why projects why organizations run projects, what are the things that could instigate them, why they are formed. And we looked at the differences between the waterfall methodology and using an agile type of methodology. So we've done a good in-depth deep dive on those, and then started to look at some of the different kind of tools and things that as an agile delivery manager you need to think about and start to put together, which is when we started to look at the RACI, stakeholder matrix, power interest grid, and all those things that this homework has come out from. So those are some of the topics that we've done in the past few trainings.
Okay, thank you, Kemi. Anybody else? Does anybody have anything else to add to that? Does anybody have anything else to add to that?
Hi, good evening. I think she's covered most of the things that we have been able to touch on during the course of this training. And what she said is quite exhaustive. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Isaac. Now, what I need to add to this is this. You went through the agile journey in the context of a delivery manager.
Yes.
All right? And that's very, very important. You didn't just learn the agile, the Scrum, every other thing that a Scrum Master needs to know is what you've learned. And the reason is because you're learning it in the context of a delivery manager, being able to act in the capacity of a Scrum Master and being able to manage a Scrum Master as well. So when you are in a team as a delivery manager or as a delivery lead, you are able to manage a Scrum Master, manage the product owner, manage everybody else in the leadership, especially when if you are sitting on the program level. I hope that's very clear.
Yes.
And based on that as well, we then went through some of the other things that you've spoken about. And that's when we started to talk about the project, as you've said, program. We spoke about portfolio. We spoke about their importance, the reason why it's important for us to also know who sits where. And that's what led us into the organo chart. That's what led us into talking about governance, the stakeholder management. Then we talked about the 10 important tools of project management. So we took stakeholder out of it. And then now we've spoken about different tools that we use in what we call the PMO. And we explained that PMO is not a person. What did we say PMO is?
It's an office.
It's an office. It's not a person. So when people say I'm a PMO, we said it is wrong. It's meant to be that the person is a PMO analyst. You can have a PMO analyst, or you can actually have a program manager heading the program management office. Now, one of the things that we also said is it's important for us to now break that down. So we broke it down into the first part of it. And in the first part of it, we spoke about the framework, we spoke about methodology, we spoke about governance. And that's how we got into where we are. We've dealt with framework, we've dealt with methodologies, we've dealt with framework. Now we spoke about the tools. And now I gave you an example to talk about. When we talk about the tools, we'll talk about few things that I mentioned. Who can remind me? What are the few things that I spoke about when we talk about the second tool? What did I say about it? Don't forget, I spoke about the first one, second one, then I talked about reporting. Who can remind me?
Is that planning, budgeting? Planning and budgeting?
We talked about approach, control, and reporting. Hello?
Yeah, you're right. So what did we talk about that? The approach is what you've spoken about when you talk about framework and other things. You remember the 3 pillars that we shared, right?
Framework, methodology, and governance.
Yeah, we've
the 3
spoken
pillars
about
for
that.
approach, yes.
Transparency.
Okay. You've tried, but that's not just that's not the only thing that was spoken about. There are 3 of them. If anybody can remind me, that's what I'm asking. If you don't remember, it's not a crime. Take it up again and all right. You remember I spoke about approach.
Transparency.
It's under approach that
Okay,
no,
sorry.
it's under
You did
approach
talk-
that you talk of framework, methodology, governance.
Yeah.
We then spoke about control.
Okay.
There are 3: approach, control, reporting.
Yeah.
Do you remember that now?
Yes.
And under the control, that's when we spoke about business case, saying that we need a business case or project charter. And I took time to break that down to us. I know you asked me about the difference between project charter and business case, and we dealt with that, isn't it?
Yeah.
If it's not clear, please let me know. So under that, we need to have our project plan. We need to have our rates. So one of the things that we said the last time is you told me that they ask you about how you are going to, right? And I said you should go back to him to ask about the budget for your project. Did you do that?
Sorry, the line cut out just a bit when you were talking just now. Could you repeat the last sentence, please?
I said the last meeting, you said, oh, no wonder. Is that why Deji was asking you about planning? Isn't it? You remember?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I said to you that, yes, that's why he was asking you, that you need to have a budget, you need to have timeline for your project. And I said you should make sure you go back and ask that what's the budget and what's the timeline for your project. Did you do that?
Oh, okay. So because
Not yet.
didn't go back to ask, but Deji had originally said in our, I think our first sprint, that we should work out the budget based on some specific day rate he had given us per role and number of sort of resources per role, work it out over your 5 sprints and create the budget from there. And it kind of gave us how we can vary it and work out the budget and know what it is. And we put that in our last report, and we're using it to kind of work out, from what they just said, work out how much you're spending per sprint. Obviously, this is just the resource view. There's nothing else on there. So they didn't tell us like your budget is 300,000. He kind of said we should work it out. That we have, but we haven't gone back to kind of do an in-depth on that budget, as it were, if that makes sense. We've just worked it out, like burning through a percentage of it based on what we calculated.
Okay, but like I said to you on Tuesday, it's important that you do that. You can't just work out. For me, you have to do the budgeting. I have to see the budgets. I have to know, like I said, if you have a timeline, for example, I asked you, I said, how many months have you done now? And we agreed that you have done 4 weeks already, isn't it?
Yes, that's correct.
So I said that I would need to know what you've achieved in these 4 weeks, how much you've spent, because the way we do budgeting, we have to do that. It's part of what we need to do. It's part of the controlling tool that we use. As a delivery manager, this is part of what you would need to use to be able to control the life of your project. Don't forget, either we like it or not, you're working in Waterfall, you're working in Agile as a delivery manager. The reason you are called a delivery manager is because you are not only moving tickets, you are doing beyond that. We spoke about that, right?
Yes, we did.
So now, if we're talking about you managing the budget for your project, if I should ask you now, how much have you planned? What do you have left? What have you spent? Can you tell me? Are you able to walk me through that?
Sorry, this is the GFEMI. I think they should have that, right? Because I had a meeting with them and we had a call to say, okay, now, other than me giving you the budget, right? I will tell you the metrics that goes and that you can use to calculate it, right? Take it for that I'm a stakeholder that I really don't know, but I have number in my head actually. So what they now did was, okay, you're going to have 1 BA in your team. You're going to have 1 Scrum Master in your team. You have 1 ADM in your team. You're going to have 2 QAs in your team. You're going to have 1, I think maybe 3 or 4 developers in your team. And each one of them was going to take maybe £500 per day for, So with that, they've kind of, put a budget out, right? Which I think it should be there. I think they should need to give that to you as a budget. And also what I think they should also give to you is like how they are burning down on that budget per sprint, right? So that's another thing to say, okay, are they actually, I think another thing that I also in that report is like, they are not actually burning down enough budgets. So they are actually burning, right now they are in the middle of the project and they've not actually spent 1/10 of their budget, which is a failure, right? So otherwise they are not going to see any budget at the end of the project again. If you have to extend it, it means that they've not actually finished any of the budget. That is one that you need to address. Then in terms of their timeline, I've told them this project is 6 sprints, right? And this is the 3rd sprint, if I remember. Yeah, it's 3 sprints, which basically that is 3 months in total.
This can be their 3rd sprint. It depends on how many weeks is your sprint. If it's 2-week sprint, then this will be their 2nd sprint.
Oh, is it?
Yes, this will be their 2nd sprint, because if you have 2-week sprint, don't forget your 2-week sprint, your 2 sprints will be 1 month. So this is just their 4th.
I don't think so, Femi. I think this is the 3rd sprint, technically, right?
It's because we had the sprint zero.
They told me
We
this
had
is just their
zero,
4th week.
Yeah, this is their 3rd sprint.
No,
this is the
is this sprint. Your 3rd sprint?
Yeah.
But you said this is your 4th week, right?
Yes,
it can't be 4th week.
Because we were counting based on it, because sprint zero, we spent it during the onboarding, understanding what was happening within. That's what. So that's where when Femi said, "Is this your, how many sprints?" So we thought, okay, we've done sprint 1, we are in sprint 2, so that's how we counted it. We didn't count sprint 0 because it was more of onboarding and things.
All right, sprint 0 is part of your
Femi, 1 minute.
Okay.
So Femi, we are talking about budget. Are you going to say that for the sprint 0, you are not going to pay those people?
Of course, they have to pay, and that's what I'm saying.
No, I'm trying to explain where we kind of miscommunicated it, because Femi asked how many sprints have you gone through. We were counting based on, okay, sprint 1, sprint 2, this is when we're actually delivering. But in terms of the budget, like you told us to work out, at least Team Flex, we worked it out for sprint 0, sprint 1, sprint 2. So we have like a count of what percentage we're burning all through from the start of sprint 0. But we assumed wrongly that when Femi was asking, he was asking in terms of us actually delivering on the project itself. That's why we left out sprint 0.
Okay. Now, what your sprint 0 normally is meant for is beyond just the onboarding. In your sprint 0, one of the things that we want to get, which in real life you will find will be, that's where you will see so many things. If teams have applications to install, they've got things to do. That's what we call the base layer. They set the base layer, put that in place. And thank you, Deji, for explaining, the things to them again on the budget and for letting me know where they are. So right now, at least I know where you are now. I know that Deji has already given you the guideline on how you should get your budget, isn't it? Guys, is that correct?
Yes, we have it, and we've worked it out in terms of how much it comes to in total, how much we're burning.
So would you, like I said on Tuesday, you would need to give me reports on this. I need to, on a weekly basis, I need to see where you are. I need to see how much you've spent. I need to see what you have left. I need to see if your project is running late. I need to see if the money that you have is still okay or not. You need to be able to calculate that as a delivery manager.
Okay, so
and that's why we're doing planning.
Okay.
It's a tool that you have to be using. Your plan is a working tool. It's something that constantly, every day, you have to look into your plan to be sure that you still have money or you are running out of money. So like I asked on Tuesday, if I should ask you today now, how much today till date would you say that you have spent? How much is the budget that was approved? Has DG approved any budget for you? Excuse me. Has he approved any budget for you guys? Guys, talk now. You are keeping quiet.
No. Well, as he said that he told us to work it out based on how many members of staff we need. So
But no matter what, even if you work it out, you still have to present it. In real world, no matter what, once you've worked it out, you still need to let your sponsor see it. You can't just come up to say,
we did at the last sprint.
We did that, yeah.
Last sprint, yeah, we did at the last sprint.
So I want to know now, how much do you have and how much do you have left? If you did that the last sprint, we need to work that out. And that's why planning is critical. You will need the support of the people that were in the previous class, your buddies, and those that are mentoring you to be able to walk through this. But these are essentials of planning. Does that make sense? When you are doing your plan, you look at the scope, the work that you have. You look at everything that needs to be done, the time you have, the cost that you have been given. You want to maintain quality in the midst of that. You need to look at the people that you have to pay, the human resources. You need to look at things that you need to buy, procurement. You need to look at the things that you're using, perhaps the tool, if you have to buy any software, if you have to, how are you communicating? What are you doing? Things like that. And in the midst of that, you need to make that around the project risk. What are the risks? So what I wanted to do before, I'm happy that you've covered planning. I wanted us to cover that planning today, but I'll leave it to you till you present it to me next Tuesday. I want to see your plan. I want to see your budget. I want to see what you've spent. I want to know how many people you have. And I want to see how you are managing them. Because in real life scenario, that's what you're going to be doing. So, but because project risk is critical in the midst of all of that, I'm going to touch on risk tonight out of all of that. So that when you are presenting it, I want to see that you've captured your risk and issues when you are presenting what you are presenting in your plan to me. So when we talk about risk, what's a risk, guys? What is a risk? Hello?
Something that could potentially happen that would have an impact on you delivering your project.
Good. That's good. Anybody else? Anyone else?
It's an uncertainty.
Uncertainty.
Uncertainty that may occur during the project.
Okay. All right. Good. Anybody else?
Could it be something that you're anticipating could happen in the course of the project, during the course of the project?
Okay, something you're anticipating. Do you have to anticipate it? Well, you think, well, like you've all said, you've all contributed wonderfully. So as Kemi said, as Isaac and as you said, you see, it's an unforeseen circumstance. Risk are unforeseen circumstances that you see, when we talk of foresight, we talk of hindsight, we talk of insight, isn't it? All right? A delivery manager must have a foresight so that you're able to know what can happen, what can go wrong. If anything goes wrong, what are the things that will be affected primarily? If things happen, what are the things that can go wrong primarily? Loretta, what are things that can go wrong primarily? Let's say an unexpected situation happens now.
The project can go over its scope, it can go over the budget, and it may fail.
Okay, good. It not go over its scope. If it goes over a scope, we call that scope creep. And that's one of the things you are managing as a delivery manager. You don't want scope creep. But primarily, there are few things that can easily go wrong. The other time, we spoke about the 3 constraints. So your budget, your timeline. For example, you've been asked to build a house. And you want to build. When you want to build, you will be building outside, isn't it? And then you listen to the weather forecast. You've just agreed, you've just given them 3 months, and you just turned on your TV. After the contract has been signed, you promise them in 3 months this property will be ready. And then you just turn on your TV, and on the news, when they were giving the weather forecast, they just said, for 3 weeks, there's going to be torrential rain. Oh, there's going to be storm. And what do you think may happen with that?
The house will not be complete because there will be a delay in starting due to the storm.
Fantastic. So immediately you hear that news, that's a risk. What are we going to do with that? What do we do with, immediately you hear that, what would you do?
Manage it, mitigate
to
the...
How would you manage it? You are talking theory. I want practical. I've given you a practical scenario. What would you do?
You can either plan to start the project earlier than expected, or you can make provision.
You are supposed to start the project now anyway, and you've just heard in the news. Today is Friday. You've just heard that from Monday, there's going to be serious rain for the next 3 weeks, and there will be storm.
Would you go back to
put everything on hold?
Would you go back to the original owners and sort of let them know of the situation and ask for an extension of time?
Exactly. So what you want to do is to capture that risk. You need to capture that risk first. Analyze it. You need to look at the impact, the probability of that risk, and the impact it's going to have if it happens. So that's the reason it's important when you are doing your planning, when you have risk like that, you need to factor that into your planning, isn't it? So I've planned now that I want to deliver something in 3 months, but I listened and I realized that, like now, Deji has just told you that you have 3 sprints to deliver. Would you be able to meet up with the 3 sprints? I want to see that on Tuesday. Are there factors that may delay you? Are there things that may not allow you to meet up? We need to capture that. So just as Kemi said, you need to first capture that risk, analyze it, check the probability of that risk, the impact it's going to have on your budget, on your timeline. Because you have a scope to manage. Then what do? The most important thing that you want to do is to give visibility to your stakeholders. This is critical. That's why when you go for job interviews, they ask you, how do you manage risk and issues? You know why? They don't want something to happen and they are just getting to know when it's too late. They want to know in good time. Are you with me, guys?
Yes.
I've gotten so many jobs that when I get there, what they will say to me is, Femi, please, we need your help. One of the reasons we need your help is because the previous person that was here would tell us when things have gone bad, when it's too late. I remember when I was with Metro Bank, I did a dependency mapping thing for them, for the directors, And out of that, I brought out some of the risk, some of the things that may affect what they want to do, because it was a program that I was managing for them. And the moment I presented that, one of the directors didn't know when he said, hallelujah, in the meeting. And everybody was like, what was that? I said, this is what I've been expecting for a long time. Thank you, Femi, for bringing this. Do I need to beg them to retain me, guys? Will I need to beg them?
No, not at all.
No, because I made them to see clearly what is happening and what can happen. Give visibility to your stakeholders, guys. Immediately you discover things like that, you don't need to hide it. Let them know. Tell them. So that's why this is critical. That's why you need to have what we call rates log. And you guys need to keep that in your team. All of you, you need to work it out together. As a delivery manager, you must manage your risk, you must manage your issues, you must manage your dependencies and your assumptions. What did I say?
As a delivery manager, we must manage our risks, our dependencies, our assumptions,
and issues.
Okay.
Sorry, Femi. Maybe you should ask them, what are these? Because it's been 3 sprints now. And I think they should have highlighted some of these things. Do you get it now? What are the risks that they found? What are the issues that they found? What are the assumptions that they've made? Have they, or if there's any right now? So that we don't, because it's practical.
They will do that. If I ask them to do it now, it may be too sudden for them, because some of these things are things that they are learning. So by next Tuesday, I'm expecting that when they bring the budget they are coming with, they should be able to give me their risk, issues, dependencies that they have, and whatever assumptions. Or if I ask you guys now, can you do that? Can you give it to me now? Guys?
Because I think they should know, right?
Don't kill them.
No, seriously, Femi, because we have some of these discussions, and I know they've kind of found some of the risks during the project. They found some of the issues. They made some assumptions. If they're not actually documenting it as at now, right? Next week is late for them, right? So they need to come out. I need them to tell me that they have not documented anything, right? Is that right?
We have an impediments log for Team Flex. We are just designing the risk log. We've not finished it, even though we've made note of the risks to put in there. So if you log into Teams now, you will see risk and issues log. If you click, you see the impediments log. The Scrum Masters have started using it. Risk log there's nothing there because we're Googling templates that we can use, but we've made note of the different risks that are coming out. And we even discussed one on our stand-up today that we highlighted, which is what led to the question that I asked at the support call. Deji is one of the things we want to pull together. So conversation is going on, but we don't have a risk log we can show you right now.
Okay, so that's why you need to be telling Femi, because he needs to be proud of what you guys are doing. And another thing about work is visibility, right? If you are doing it and your boss doesn't see it, it just looks as if you have not done anything. Visibility is very, very key. Yeah, you need to let Femi know that we are actually doing a lot, and this is what we are doing. That's why I'm actually pushing out that you guys know most of these things. You are doing it, right? But Femi needs to see them. Do you get?
That's right. I need to see them, guys. Okay.
Okay.
So thank you very much, Deji, for that. So on Tuesday, I'll be you see, there's a lot that you guys have to show me now, right? Yeah. I hope you are taking note of it. It's good that it's recorded. So none of you would say, oh, we didn't know. Okay. So if anything is not clear, like I said, it's not a do or die. Just let me know. Oh, we don't know how to do this. That's why you have your buddies. That's why you have your mentors. They should be able to support you. If they are not able to, feel free to reach out at any time. All right? So looking at that now, we've talked about risk. What are issues? I don't want Kemi to tell me now.
Okay.
What are issues, guys? What's the difference between a risk and an issue? Oluyinka.
A risk is an event that could occur in a project and
risk
have
is
an impact, both either positive or negative. And issues are things that can happen at any time during a project that must be dealt with quickly. And they don't usually have
You tried, but that's
solution.
not it. You tried, but that's not it. You've tried. Thank you, but that's not it. So who can tell me?
Okay, so
Anybody else?
yeah, a risk, I feel a risk may arise in the future during the project, while an issue is a challenge that is already, it's ongoing.
Okay. It's ongoing. What do you mean ongoing?
As in, it's presently, they are dealing on it.
Okay. All right. You've tried. That's good. That's not bad. Anyone else?
So a risk is like an unforeseen issue that might happen. A risk can actually become an issue if care is not taken. And an issue is already felt. It's visible. We can see what is happening.
Okay. All right. You've all tried. Well done. The difference between the two is just future and present or past. It's just like in tenses. You have the future tense, you have the present tense, and you have the past tense. Your issue deals with two, while your risk deals with one of it. Your risk is futuristic. Your issue is past tense or present tense. Does that make sense, guys? Issue is something that has happened or that is happening presently. An issue has happened or it is happening now. Your risk has not happened. But you are envisaging that if it happens, this or this and this may happen. Is that very clear now? If you look at it as in present, past, and continuous, it would help you, right? Or future, rather. Is that clear, guys?
Yes, thank you. That's helpful.
Good. So if we've dealt with that, I want to believe that it shouldn't be a problem for you at any time now if I ask you about the difference between risk, issues. Then when we talk about dependencies, do we know what dependencies are? What are dependencies?
Are there a series of factors that are affecting it, that affect each other, or that are linked, interlinked, and affect each other?
Yes, something like that. Yes. But why are they important?
It relies on the completion of it. So a dependency is something that must happen before something else happens. So if a task is not complete, if
well
a task,
done. Put it together for me.
Task,
thank you. Huh?
A project dependency is a task that relies on the completion of a previous task before it.
Okay. It relies on a completion of one. Okay. That's just one aspect of what we call dependency. That's Isaac, right?
Yes.
Isaac. Okay. When you talk of dependencies, just as you initially said, dependencies are, you see, when we talk of things that are, when I was defining programs to you. I gave you the definition of program as collection of projects that are interrelated. Do you remember that, guys?
Yes.
Now, when we talk about dependencies, there are different types of dependencies. You could have what we call external dependencies. You could have what we call internal dependencies. Now, there are dependencies outside of projects. There are dependencies within the project. There are dependencies between two teams. Some of the dependencies that we talk about many times, for example, like the one you were talking about, Isaac, would have to do with task dependencies. When people are talking of task dependencies, that's when you talk of something that will finish before you start the other. But there are different types of that. So we have what we call finish to finish. We have what we call start to finish. We have what we call finish to start. And we have what we call start to start. Is that clear to everybody?
Yes.
If it's not clear, please don't keep quiet, guys. Tell me, oh, Femi, that's not clear. Is it clear? Okay. Should I assume that you all understand it?
Yes,
Yes,
I
it's clear.
understand it.
So what are the types of dependencies that I said you could have within your project?
Finish to start, start to finish, start to start, and
Start to start, finish to start, start to finish, start to, yeah, start to start, starts to finish, finish to start.
Okay, give me an example of finish to finish. Can anybody give me an example of finish to finish? And I'm waiting.
so finish to finish. It means that before something will finish, you have to finish another one. You have to finish the previous either task or whatever before you can finish the other one. So, for instance, if you're building a house, you have to finish the flooring before you can finish the roofing, perhaps.
You have to finish the flooring before you can finish the roofing. Is that the way it works?
I mean, we're here to learn.
Good, and I love that.
We're here to learn.
Yes, and I love that.
If we give an example of something, you laugh at us. It's demoralizing.
Oh, no.
And I'm just being honest. I'm being honest. It's
No.
demoralizing.
You see, when I laugh, that's not to make fun of you. That's just to say that I'm happy that you are thinking. All right? And that's not laughter in the context of that. So it's to say that I'm happy that you are thinking. All right? At least you've tried. So when we talk of start to finish, what is start to finish then? Can anybody give me an example of start to finish?
I think start to finish is like what it means to me is that when you start a project begins and it has an ending date. So you start and you walk through the process and it ends. So taking, for instance, you need to, just like what Isaac first said, you need to build a house and you set a target and you have an ending date. So you start to finish it up.
Okay. All right. That's good. Okay.
I'm already making guess of myself.
No, it's okay. See, like I said, I'm happy. See, like I've always said to all of you, there is no answer that is stupid. Okay? I would rather prefer you say it and get corrected than for you to keep quiet. And one of the rules that I said when we were learning about Agile is whatever we're doing, especially in an Agile journey, we keep it simple, stupid. That's why we mean, case. When we use the word case, we said keep it simple, stupid. So if you say anything and anybody giggles or laugh or smile or is not to get at you, it's just the fact that it's a good thing that you're thinking. And once you've said it, you would never make a mistake twice, guys. So if you say it now and somebody corrects you, you would not miss it again because you've learned that and you can never forget it. And that person can't take it away from you anymore. Anyway. So when we talk of finish to finish, as you said, Isaac, it's a task that except you finish this, you cannot conclude this. Finishing this task is dependent on that one being finished. I'm not going to give you an example now because I want all of you to be able to think and be able to give me things. In fact, you can use cake. Cake can be a very good example of managing task within itself, especially when you are within a project. Now, there are some things that you cannot start until you have finished a particular thing. There are some things that you cannot start until you've started another one. And there are some things you cannot start until you have finished another one. I want you to be able to think through this for me and be able to look through it in how you manage your dependencies. Now, that's dependencies within the team. One of the dependencies that are critical for you to manage are dependencies outside of your team. Why is this critical? This is critical because except those people know what you need when you need it, they may have different plans. Look at this. Can you all see this? Can you see my screen?
Yes.
What can you see?
You can see different DevOps, I guess, development team.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well done. I'm glad you could see that. Anybody else? What can you see?
You've got some arrows that are connecting some of the
Good. You've got some arrows.
Sorry, Femi.
Anybody?
If I may say one example that you guys have worked on right now is login and registration, right? You cannot start login if you have not finished registration. So for you to be able to do registration, right, you must to be able to do the login functionality, you must have finished registration because there's no how you're going to log in without registering. So it's kind of one of those examples, right? Finish before you start another one. Yeah.
Thank you, Deji.
All those things as you go along, right? So yeah.
So Deji, that means that one is finished to start.
Yeah,
I'll leave it to you guys. I'll leave it to you guys.
Yeah, exactly. That is it. You have to finish registration before you can start logging. Right. Okay. So you need to look at those projects that you're working on and start bringing those examples in. Do you get it now? Which one is the start to start? Do you get it now? For instance, the what's it called? The capture one, right? You have to start login registration, right? And also then you start the capture, right? You will not finish registration because capture is part of it, but you have to start registration before you bring the capture in. Do you get it now? And so then you finish the registration later with the capture in. Do you get it now? So that starts to start. Do you get it now? You start one, then you start the other one anyway. So, okay,
Okay, thank you, Deji, for contributing to that. All right, guys, can you see what I'm putting on?
Yes. Yes. What does it stand for?
Okay, this stands for start to finish, That's how you will see it. So you won't be confused when you see it outside. As a delivery manager, when they give these things like this, I don't want you to feel, oh, what does that stand for? Does that make sense? Huh?
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
So you would see this is start to finish. This is finish to finish. This is finish to start. And this is start to start.
Okay.
That's how you're going to see the acronym written.
Yep.
Now, when you look at what I have here, I've just given you this as an example. This is a team. You see, the one that you find here, this is within your project. The example that you was giving you, this is within your project, all right? But when you talk of a program, dependencies, it goes beyond that. This is a team. DevOps, that's a DevOps team. Integration team. This is a VDI team. Those are 3 different teams. Now, can you see this? I've written a sprint here at the top. I've written another sprint here. I've written another sprint here. Can you see here? There's API 13 that the DevOps team is working on. API 14, API 12 that they are working on, right? Now, if you look at integration team, they have dev work, they have user interface, they need API 3 to be able to do user interface. Some of these arrows are pointing into dependencies to say, without API 13, we cannot build this. You need to know when they will get this ready. This can be a little bit complex, but if you look at it and you sit back and reflect on what I've said now, it's simple. It's not difficult. All those dependencies are there for you to map so that you would know when a particular thing will be available for your team to consume. That helps you to be able to plan what your team should deliver at what sprint. Does this make sense, guys?
Yes,
it does.
You are sure it makes sense?
Let me please repeat it again. Thank you.
Good. There are 3 teams that are represented here. DevOps team, integration team, VDI team.
What's
These
VDI?
teams, no, it's just an example. Don't worry about that. Virtual development and whatever. Don't worry about that. Okay? I'm just giving, it's just like I can say pounded yam team, jollof rice team, whatever team. Does that make sense? All right? Now, what I'm saying to you here, especially if you are planning a wedding, you could have a team that is working on the venue. You could have a team that is working on music. You could have a team that is working on food, isn't it? All right. So in this, when we talk of software development, these are teams that you could have in a software development in a program, within a program. The DevOps team, they have some specific work that they need to do. Their sprint runs between 15-27 of August, 15 to the 27th. They have another one that will run from 28 to the 13th. They have another one that will run from the 14th to the 27th of another month. So they start from July. This ends in August. You could see that. Now, their first sprint, they have API 13 to develop. Their second sprint, they have API 14 to develop. That's something that they're working on. In their third sprint, just for example, let's say they have API 12 or 15 to develop. Now, there are other teams that need to consume these APIs.
Yeah.
I'm just giving you a guide. I'm not teaching you about API here. All right?
Yeah.
So now all these teams, this integration team, without API 13 being ready for them on the they have some work to do. They have a user interface work to do from the 28th of July to the 13th of August. Before they can do that user interface work, they need an API 13 or API 3 to get that work done. Now, if API 3 is not available, they cannot build what they want to build. They would need to shout to the DevOps team from the beginning of their work to say, guys, please, we need API 3 to be ready because we'll be doing some work that needs API 3 from the 28th of July to the 13th of August. Now, if the DevOps team say to them, guys, that's not possible. We cannot have it ready. There's a risk there for them. Can you see that? Does this make sense now?
Yes, please.
That's the reason we do dependency mapping. It goes beyond just the start to start, finish to finish, finish to start. Those are good, but that's task dependencies. The external dependencies are the ones that kills the most. Is this clear, guys?
Yes,
Are there, yeah, I was just going to ask Femi, are there other different types of dependencies other than task?
Yes, there are different types of dependencies. For example, let me give you another dependency that may help you. Let's say I want to change this. Let's say you are planning a wedding. All right? You want to have a wedding. What are the different aspects of things what are the features that are needed for you to be able to do a successful wedding? What are the important features that are needed?
The main ceremony itself.
What do you mean by the main ceremony itself?
So like say the reception, for instance, or the main church service, or yeah, whatever.
But there are things you need to do before you can't just go to church service. You need to plan. There are features that will feed into church service.
So get a date, venue.
Venue, that's one.
Logistics.
Venue is critical, right? So when you talk of venue, that can be a team. That can be a team, correct?
Yes.
So let's just copy this and we just paste this in. I'm just going to put this in. So we want to do wedding, all right? So we have the venue team. Okay? What other team do we think we need?
Logistics.
Logistics, thank you.
Catering.
In the context of you need catering.
Entertainment.
Good. All right. So let's just make more. Let's make more of this. All right. What other team do you have?
The outfits, so like costumes for the day.
Okay, good. All right. So do we call it outfits, or what do you want us to call it?
Costume outfits, yeah.
What else do you have? Talk to me, guys. What else do you have?
Decoration.
Okay. You have decoration. Fantastic. All right. Let's say these are different teams. Don't forget, they are all within the same program. What's the program?
Wedding planning.
They are all within the same program, wedding planning. That's what everybody wants to do, right? Okay. So in this wedding planning event, now there are so many teams. These are different teams. They are not the same. Okay. So the venue team, we have the venue team, we have the decoration team, we have the logistics team, we have the catering team, we have the entertainment team. So I'm going to give you an example of venue and decoration. So let's say the decoration team is ready. They want to start decorating. Can they just plan to be decorating?
No, if the venue is not available at that time, they want to decorate, then they can't decorate.
Okay. If the venue is not available, they can't decorate. So let's say we give them timeline to find venue. The wedding is, let's say, in 2 months or in a month's time. If the venue is not ready, the decoration team, how would they know what to buy? How would they know what they need? How would they know the size of all that they would decorate?
Maybe they would have visited the. So go on, Kemi.
No, go on. I was just suggesting that they can't know for sure until they have a venue that they can size up.
So, which means if, for example, let's say the bride says to them that, guys, I need all the decoration tools to be ready. I need all the decoration tools to be ready by Tuesday. And they've asked the venue team, when are we going to know the venue we're going to use? And by that Tuesday, the venue team is saying, we don't know yet. Would the decoration team be able to know what they would need? Will they?
No.
No.
That's why we do dependency mapping, especially within the same program. Now, if, for example, the bridegroom says, we need a hall that will seat 300 people, they've not found any hall. The halls that they have been finding are halls that would only seat 50 people. And the caterer wants to budget, the caterer wants to build them for 300 people. But they are saying to the caterer, we've not found the hall that we would use. But the caterer is asking for money to buy food or to prepare for 300 people. Would they go ahead to pay for 300 people? Will they do that? Guys, answer me.
No.
You are inviting 300 people. The halls that you are finding at the moment, none of them can seat 300 people. The maximum capacity you are finding is 50 or 70. And yet the caterer is asking you that for reception, you need to pay him right now for 300 people. What would you say?
Tell them to hold on.
Why?
Because we can't get a hall for that will fit 300 people
So
at the
which
moment.
means you knowing the number of people that would come for reception is dependent on what?
On getting the hall that will fit 300 people.
Exactly. But the caterer also needs time to be able to plan, isn't it?
Yes, they do.
Because you won't tell the caterer today to say, we found all, the wedding is tomorrow. And you are asking the caterer to get food ready for 300 people by tomorrow. Would that be possible?
No, impossible.
That's why we do planning. That's the reason we do dependency mapping. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
Now, you want who is you want Davido to be the one to come and sing at your wedding. All right? Davido equipment alone would take the space of 50 people, because it will come with gadgets, it will come with all sorts, it will come with everybody and all, and yet the all that you are looking for, you haven't found it. When you are bringing somebody like Davido, would you want to rent a hall of 300 people?
Probably not. Maybe bigger.
Or would you want, except you are like the Arabs guys that have money, they invite musicians. They just invite them to come into their garden, to come and entertain in their garden, just for their friends. Just 10 of them can bring somebody like Davido. They'll just give him they can give him like $1 million just to come and entertain them. But for somebody that is planning a wedding and you want to make it big and they are expecting people, the reason some people are expecting a lot of people to come for their wedding is so that they can get a lot of money or gifts, isn't it? Are you with me?
Yeah.
Tell the truth. Why are you all pretending as though eh? So these are some of the things that you put into consideration while you are planning. I've used wedding. I think wedding is more general for everybody to understand. If I use software development, it may be a little bit, but you have your project. I want you to use your project. What you are doing within your project, I want you to use it in the context of what I've done now. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
You have a website. You want to build a website. You have another team. Perhaps maybe on a website, if it's an e-commerce website, you have basket team, you have the About Us team, you have various teams working on different functionalities. There might be things that you would need from that team to be able to go out, to be able to do this, or to be able to release that. And that cuts across for everyone here. Okay? Are we clear?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to end it here. Sorry, we should have ended by 11 o'clock. But I hope this is clear now, right? Now you have loads of things to come back with. You are working on your governance. Now you've started your plan. You have your plan already. You also said you've started your rates log. And today, on the rates log, we've talked about risk, issues, and we've talked about dependencies. I'm expecting that you will be able to come up with things like this for me, to let me see what dependencies you have within your project. Is it too much?
No.
To get done by Tuesday?
It's a lot.
It's a lot because
It's
we're
too
preparing
much.
for demo.
Yeah. This demo is on Sunday.
Some things like what we've done before, we could send some, but maybe not everything will be ready by Tuesday, just because we've also got to prepare for end of sprint demo by Sunday.
I also need to know what you are presenting for your end of sprint. I also need to see that. Okay? All right, guys?
That one is quite dependent on other departments, so like the QAs, the TAs and BAs and everybody.
I need to see what you are presenting for your end of sprint demo so that I can guide you. Okay?
Okay.
Don't forget your organochart. You need to, all the things that you've done, I need to see it. You need to share them with me.
And also, you could also present what you presented for the last time as well. Do you get it now? If you have not seen it. So, of course, you need to get feedback from Femi, SAP, right? So it's okay. This what, even if it's not fully done, right? You can say this is what we plan to do, right? So that, yeah, even before that time, you got everything ready. And even you will also say, okay, you guys need this before Sunday so that you can be able to put those things in. So it will be good to get that feedback periodically, right? Yeah.
Thank you for that, DG. So, guys, we're clear now. Have a good evening, everybody.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Yes,
You're welcome. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Kemi, you can stop recording. That's okay.